You guys enjoying your show so far? Awesome. Cool. Thanks for being here. Tell you a little bit about myself. I recently figured something out about myself. I've been doing some self-searching. And I just figured out that I am white trash.
Can relate.
Maybe you had a similar story. I figured out that I'm white trash, right? Because if you show up at my house with a BB gun and some weed, I'm canceling whatever I was supposed to do that day. You bring a bottle of Kraken and some fireworks, I guarantee we'll make the news again.
Yes, again.
Yeah. I know I'm white trash, right? Because I love buying like a 2-liter bottle of Pepsi and just drinking it straight from the bottle, no cup. You leave that much at the bottom, that's an ashtray now. Every morning with 2 old croissants, white trash breakfast. You guys are allowed to laugh at these things. I chipped my tooth eating a scrambled egg the other day. You understand? I went to the dentist, he's like, dude, you didn't chip your tooth on an egg. You chipped your tooth on years and years of neglect. It's like, not cool, dude. Why you gotta bring my dad into this? Are you my dentist or my therapist? Either way, let's double that dose. Guys, we came here to have a fun time and joke about ourselves. I know I'm white trash because I live in a trailer. Welcome to Gabriola, hey? That's right.
We've all been there.
My home doesn't have a mortgage, it has a license plate. Actually, I have a mortgage too. Rough. Yeah. So, I was downtown, I was in Nanaimo the other day, and I was walking down the street, and there was this thing I hadn't seen in a long time, other people there. And we were outside, right? So I was walking on the street and I wasn't wearing a mask, and then I saw someone else come at me on the sidewalk and they weren't wearing a mask, so what did we do? We got about this far away from each other. You know the move. We held our breaths. And then we kept walking. And then we got to the point where we were like this far past each other, you know, where our backs are facing each other, and what do? You let it all out. Because air doesn't travel backwards. Holding your breath to protect yourself from strangers is like the social distance equivalent of like pulling out during sex. 100% effective. If you're doing it right. Chances are, you're not doing it right. Not proven to protect you from infection either, so I'd be nervous about that one. But like we in the last 2 years, we've all kind of accumulated these weird behaviors, right? That like I'm sure we would all love to shed. I was driving the other day and I noticed that in the car in front of me had Colorado plates, and like without even thinking about it, I just slowed down like I wanted space, you know? Like when we talk about a bubble, what could be more of a bubble than 2,000 pounds of steel and glass? But it wasn't enough for me, you know? What's worse is that the car that pulled in front of me, like and filled up that space, they had Alberta plates. So I just drove my fucking car into a ditch. I walked here tonight. Through the woods, try and get me now, you know, like, fuck that shit. I did, as Shirley was saying, we moved to Gabriola during the pandemic, and like, you know, compared to living in the city, a lot of things have changed for us. An example, I quit smoking recently. Couple supportive people. It sucks though, right? Because I love smoking. I love smoking cigarettes. It's so cool. It makes me feel young, like a movie star from the 80s, you know? I grew up on The Outsiders, so like, Val Kilmer, 1988, that's me when I'm smoking, you know? But like I started smoking because of peer pressure, right? I was living in Montreal, and in Montreal, if you don't have a cigarette in one hand and a stripper on the other, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing here? You should be in Ottawa right now, you know? So I started smoking. And then we moved here. And like even in the city, even in Nanaimo, you go to light a cigarette downtown and 4 crackheads poke their head out from around the side of the building and they're like, "You're gonna smoke that?" And you feel weird about it for a second, you know? I was at Silva Bay. I was at actually Saturnina Island. We were camping on Saturnina, not even Gabriola, an even more remote island, right? And it was low tide. So I put on my swim trunks and I walked 900 meters out offshore so that I can get this deep in water. And out of this little pocket, you know, in your board shorts, this little pocket, what do you carry in there? A baggie with another baggie in it. And inside that baggie, a single cigarette and a lighter. So I figure I'm safe, right? I'm 900 meters offshore. I go to light it, and then I notice this like kind of bubbling up in my periphery over here. And who pops up out of the water but Johnny fucking Scuba Man? You know this guy that's at every beach in British Columbia? The scuba diver with the heart of gold that's not fishing today. He's been picking up sea litter. He had a bag of sea garbage with him. And I saw what was in that bag of sea garbage. You know what it was? Mostly cigarette butts. And then this little part of me died inside at witnessing that. And that cigarette that I was about to light fell from between my fingers and floated gently on the breeze into his bag of trash. Because this is British Columbia and you can't smoke here because it's a magical land in which we are the custodians of. So I don't say I quit smoking. I say I don't do it anymore. Right? But it's peer pressure the reason I quit smoking, right? Like, I was peer pressured into it, now I'm peer pressured out of it, right? The only difference is, like in Montreal, if you flick a cigarette, you probably just like hit the sewer. You might hit someone, who cares? That's your wife now. That's how I met my wife. In BC though, you flick a cigarette and like the next day there's footage of you on the news burning down a town. And no one wants to be responsible for the next lighting, right? Is it called Lytton or Lighten? It's not called anything anymore, it's gone. This is the point. So no one wants to be responsible for that. So as a good British Columbian, I relinquish the cigarettes. I still smoke joints like a maniac though, so like what's the point? I got married 2 years ago. Thank you. Yeah, you're allowed to like celebrate that. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention, but the last 2 years have been rough. For like most people. It's a pandemic. So I thought someone might need a reminder. So what we did to kind of try and commemorate the fact that, like, you know, a lot of people got married a long time before us, and they kind of had it sweet. And then we got married and boom, global pandemic, right? It's harder for us. We're doing it in hard mode. That's just the truth. So what we agreed to is that we now celebrate our anniversaries in dog years. You guys know the conversion. One year in human is 7 years for a dog, right? Well, every 1.7 months we're celebrating a new anniversary. There's no pressure there. That's 5.8 weeks. No pressure. 2 years. So for those of you guys doing the math, we're about to celebrate our crystal anniversary. Right? 15, crystal. And I didn't have the money this time for like crystal or diamonds or anything like that. So what I did is I got, for the both of us, just a ton of crushing debt. And I'm hoping that pressure will crystallize and then we can turn our relationship into a diamond one day. Great. So we're married and it's going great. That's awesome. I do love living in Gabriola, though. I really do actually love it. Like, I was a city guy, you know, eating banh mi and pizza slices every day. Now I'm like a woods guy, eating frozen pizzas and just bread every day because I'm too lazy to put peanut butter on it because I live in the woods. Who's gonna fucking judge me? I'm adjusting very well is what I'm saying. But Gabriola is awesome. It has a bunch of things that, like, you know, you don't get in Montreal. The studio tour. Or as I like to call it, the Illegals Outbuildings tour. Illegal Outbuildings tour. Gabriola calls itself the Island of Artists, but I like to call it the Island of Dreams. That turn into half-finished projects on your front lawn for like 2 to 3 years, but let's hope no one complains to the council. I'll get it done eventually. Don't piss the neighbors off. Yeah, it's good stuff. I have tattoos. Don't know if you could tell, but I do. I'm covered. I'm like, probably have as much tattoos as the rest of Gabriola put together, if I'm being honest. I don't usually talk about it much on stage, right? Because like it can make people feel like weird. I don't know why, but it does. It makes people feel weird. And the truth is, tattoo culture is changing a lot, and it has been for years now. And so, like, if you 100 years ago, if you looked at someone like me that's this covered in tattoos, what it tells you today is that at some point I had $500, right? But if you look at someone 100 years ago that has as many tattoos as me, then, you know, they probably crossed an ocean in a boat. They probably fought a war, or maybe they lost someone that they cared deeply about, and they had significant moments in their life that they wanted to commemorate. But in 2021, if you see someone with as many tattoos as me, like, they probably lost a bet. Or have like a favorite Billy Ocean album. Or have seen a Star Wars. And decided to dedicate their entire arm to Darth Vader. And then had to get the part with Jar Jar Binks blacked out because it was like, didn't hold up very well. You know? So it can be awkward to talk about tattoos. It can be, it doesn't have to be, you know. I have a tattoo of Icarus on my back, my full back, from my shoulders to like most of my ass, you know. And the thing that, this is not that kind of show. Late show. Talk to me. So my favorite thing about this Icarus tattoo is that I went to Prince Edward Island, where an artist that I really liked was tattooing at that time. And I dedicated 2 days straight of my life, 8 hours a day, getting my back tattooed. Just 8 hours of pain a day, plus weeks of healing. And at that point, it was half done. And then I just never went back to Prince Edward Island. So I have a half-finished Icarus tattoo. And I don't know if you know the story of Icarus, but his hubris caught the best of him. And so I like to leave my tattoo half finished as a reminder to myself that, like, don't start things that you can't finish. Don't commit to things that you have no intention of caring about a year from now. Because you'll end up with a man falling from your shoulders directly into the chasm of your ass. And it's not even full color, it's like half color. It's real weird.
Where's
So
the late show? I gotta see this.
There's no late show. You're gonna need to stop asking about that. Okay, now I want to make something clear here. I know that just earlier I had a joke about how I was easily peer pressured into not smoking anymore. And for those of you that are trying to peer pressure me into stripping right now. Okay.
Shower!
Yes, it is a comedy show. And I know that it's been 2 years since you guys have participated in society. But this is not how it's gonna fucking go down. I promise you that. I'm glad you're having fun. Now chill the fuck out. Great. I do really love it here. Like I'm a video game designer now. Like I work for a video game company, and we're all remote now. So I get to live my life in the woods, and I get to have a career while I do it, which is, you know, that's beautiful, and I love it. Especially because, like, when I was in Montreal, right, as an Anglophone in Montreal, basically I was a telemarketer my whole life. That's if you're in Montreal and you're an Anglophone, you're a telemarketer. That's how it goes. My last job, the thing that was kind of the breaking point for me at this last job, I showed up 10 minutes late one day, and my boss says to me, "Hey," and in these offices they always have a big floor, and then with a lot of people, and then in the middle of it a glass office. So that if someone gets called into the manager's office, everyone sees it happen, and they're all talking "Oh, I wonder what that meeting's about. Oh my god." So this guy, Jeff calls me into his office, right? I'm 10 minutes late. And he says, "Because of you and how often you're late for work, we're instituting a new policy where if you're going to be late for work, you have to text or call 2 hours in advance or you will be penalized," right? I looked this motherfucker dead in the eyes and I was like, "Jeff, how am I supposed to know that someone's going to jump in front of the bus today 2 hours in advance? Unless that guy's me. Because I woke up this morning and remembered that I work here." And Jeff, I assure you that if that is the case, I'm probably going to take the whole day off.
You deserve it.
Right? He gave me the whole week off. The rest of my life, he fired me. So I went 2 floors down in that same office building, and I was employed that afternoon, because that's how telemarketing works. It's like cockroaches. They're everywhere. Especially in Montreal. So it's great. I love it there. Even when you work these jobs, right? You meet people you like. Any job. You've all had shitty jobs before, right?
Woo!
And what kept you there? The people. And what made you eventually leave? The people. I was riding the bus back with one of my coworkers, about last year or so. And after work one day, I'm just exhausted. I'm on the bus with a coworker, and they want to chat, right? I did not want to chat. But we're 7, 8 stops in. I'm trying to be polite, but I'm also trying to dodge conversational bullets like Neo, as it were, you know what I mean? Just anything you throw at me, I'm not going to give you a straight answer. There's no chance in hell that anything I'm saying to you is real. Which is a tactic that I use to keep coworkers at that coworker range. You're not my acquaintance. You're not my friend of a friend. You're not my pub buddy, you're my coworker, right? That's how it works. So she's hitting me with questions left and right, and I'm dodging them like crazy. I'm giving myself props in the back of my head on how little information I've given this person in 7, 8, 9, 10, we're 11 stops into the bus ride now. I haven't said anything of substance. And then she hits me with a screwball. She goes, "Hey, what's your sign? I can just tell that we're going to be friends. What's your sign?" And she had that look in her eye, you know, that look that I call astrology craziness. Because when I said, "I'm an atheist," she didn't miss a beat. She started back up, she said, no, it's not about God, it's about the stars and when you were born, and just tell me what 28-day period you were born with him. And she had that look, right? That look that says, if you don't fucking tell me when you were born, so that I can make wild assumptions about your lucky numbers, your favorite colors, what kind of mood you're going to be in on a Tuesday, if you're a morning person or a night person, if you like vanilla more than chocolate, if you're fucking happy when you wake up, or if you're angry when you wake up, just tell me what your fucking sign is so I can unlock the secrets of the universe pertaining to you. And she wasn't going to drop it, right? What's your fucking sign? It was intense. So I did what any of us would have done in that situation. What's my sign? I was like, Wu-Tang! Not expecting that reference to work here. And then I got off the bus 7 stops early. We are not going to be friends, you Scorpio freak. I'm a Libra. It would never work. Yes. And And now here's the thing, don't come up to me after the show and say like, well, you were telling that story, I can totally tell you that you were a Libra. That's such like the way that you were cagey about it, like, I could totally tell you were a Libra, and like, I knew that that was gonna be the punchline at the end, and so like, I'm really happy that it paid off for me that way, because guess what, I'm not a fucking Libra. I'm an atheist. And I've been Troy Stark, thanks so much for listening.